Well, you'll never guess who the chatterbox is talking to today. This is the Voices of the Foothills, and with one of the big voices here in our Polk County is Mr. Lenny Rizzo. Mr. Lenny Rizzo, Uncle Lenny, as everyone calls you. Good morning, and how is everything with you and all your animals today?
So far, so good. I'm doing pretty good. Always have a lot to do, but we're hanging in. Good people.
Everyone seems to know Uncle Lenny and all the good works you do here, but I want to back up a minute. Are you a native Polk Countian, or are you from around this area originally?
Well, I've been asked this question I don't know how many times, and I give them the same answer. I spent my first 40 years in New York City, and then my formative years, the next 25, I lived in Antioch, Illinois, and now I'm home.
Okay. Boy, you went from New York to Illinois and then to the Midwest. You know, I'm from Ohio, and we're kind of strangers to people in the East. You know, we're out in the flatlands where the Indians still roam around. But, okay, I'm always interested, what brought you to Polk County?
Well, actually, my parents used to live here, my parents-in-law, and we wanted to retire in the mountains. Our choice was Colorado or here and we came and visit many times. And then when my last parent passed away, we brought out our sisters and brothers, and we decided to move down in here. And that's how I got here.
That was how long ago?
Oh, a little over 7 years ago.
Well, from what I've seen of your activities here, I thought you'd live here probably most of your life because you're so involved, and everybody knows you through your column, of course, in the Daily Bulletin. That you're what I don't even know the title. I just look for your name.
It's called Special Cases. People have asked me this too, why I've gotten into it. And basically, I used to be a pet sitter in Illinois. I did it for about 20 years. That's how I got the name Uncle Lenny. All my clients used to say, "Don't worry, we're going out of town, but Uncle Lenny will be here for you."
But what's been your livelihood besides taking care of God's creatures?
Well, I basically when I moved to Illinois, I was going to go into business with a friend of mine in construction. I had been a construction worker in New York, and a few other things, but that was basically the main thing. And then when I moved to Illinois, I went to work for the college, and he just didn't have enough money, so I worked for him for a while, and then I decided to go into the animals because I've always loved it. And that's how I got into it down here also.
How come you never went in to become a veterinarian?
It's just so many different things I've been into. And I just think that, there's enough veterinarians and stuff like that. We actually need more people like the rescuers that we have and the fosters and all of that to pick up the pieces. In other words, the vets, it's probably one of the reasons I had talked about earlier. I had why I got into it. I had so many different people that I took care of their animals. And even though I knew about animals that were always in trouble, I had a situation where when I came down here and went to work to be with the animals at the Humane Society, I saw close up first, at hand, the animals that were deep in trouble, and it just tore me apart to leave them every day. So I decided there's plenty of vets out there, someone that'll work on their behalf more closely and personal is actually what they need. And that's why I'm not a vet. I think I could do just as much good. I make the vets work for me.
You probably could never, this sounds cruel, cut into an animal probably. I mean, you would be standing there crying and saying, "Someone please do this for me." Because you have an empathy for animals that I don't know that I've ever known anyone quite, although the county's full of people like you, Lenny, except you are more visible because you're all over the place.
Well, yes.
You do go home occasionally.
Yeah, my wife says she has to make an appointment to see me. I run into the most one, and it seems like every day or so on, I'll meet another foster. I'll meet another person that does rescues and whatnot. I got a call just the day before yesterday that I'm taking care of a dog that was rescued. That was set to be put down, but I'm going to get her fixed. I'm going to get her teeth done and all the stuff that she needs. I set it up, and it'll go into my, it'll come out of my fund. And I tell everybody when I help them, I say, all you have to do is if you hit the lottery or whatever, just always remember my kids first.
Do you ever get any when people pass on? Are you ever left in the Humane Society in wills? Can people when they lose a loved one, can they bequeath some money to the Humane Society or whatever?
Yeah, I have a couple of different funds, and I have one directly at the Humane Society. When an animal has a problem, they'll call me, and I'll say, yes, use my fund and take care of that. And I have people that I trust to, and they call me, and I use my fund to do that. Plus, I have two other funds: a personal fund, which I take care of many little things with. That's the one I raise most money for. And then I have a 501(c) outside of it, and those are for major cases. So I have no problem whatsoever. Like, I raise money. I call it the miracle of loaves and fishes. 2 months ago, I spent $12,000 in a matter of a month and a half, and I looked at.
Well, now this money is people are well. Of course, with the animal lovers here in Polk County. I would think that you wouldn't have a whole lot of trouble getting, but that's a lot of money, and that's a 501(c)(3), right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, answering your first question, actually, I've had a couple of people. They have on behalf of a person that passed away, they'll say to put money into, give it to Lenny's kids, and whoever does, they do whatnot. I have a dear friend that his son and I used to talk all the time. I won't mention his name, but he loves my cats. He come over to visit my cats, and every year, sometimes twice a year, he'll send me a pretty good sized check in honor of his son, how we got together. So that's that. And I've had a few for the husband or wife that passed away, and they'll send me a nice check saying he loved your work or she loved your work, and this is in his honor. And no matter how small the donation I get, especially if it comes to me by mail, I can't do anything about what's in the jars and whatnot, which I totally appreciate. I answer everyone. Everybody gets a letter of thanks personally from me, because I want them to know that, no matter how little they think it is, it adds up and it matters. It really, really matters.
Well, cents make dollars.
Cents make dollars, exactly right.
Right. So what's been any experience that you've had with animals? Is there one experience with a certain animal, whether it was a dog, a cat, or you don't get involved with the horse end of the animal life, do you? I mean, I'm going to digress too far. In the work you do,
yes, ma'am.
Have you one example of an experience that has left a mark on you that you will always have, that kind of stands out? I mean, you've done so much, I know, but is there one in particular that stands out that you think is a God-given miracle?
Well, I've had quite a few, and I got to the point where I've actually forgotten many of them that I've dealt with. But I get letters and stuff like I showed you earlier, and I kind of keep in touch. But most of the ones that I've dealt with are personal animals that I've rescued, like my dear Allie, who was a pit bull teaser, and we made her the most beautiful animal that ever could be. And but there's a couple of two, like my dear little Joey, who was born from a puppy mill and inbred and had no front legs, and we got him a cart, and he's just a darling boy. He's a little Chihuahua. And
you got a cart for him?
Yes, I did.
I think earlier I was saying about I got a cart with the rear legs for a lady back in Ohio when but that's difficult to train a dog to use a cart on his front legs.
Yeah, it is difficult. We had set him up, and he had gone backwards at first, and then but super smart boy, and we kind of figured out if we put the cart on him and then we put a leash on him and kind of hold him and walk him to the cart, he figured it out in no time. He actually could run into a wall, pick himself up, turn around, and go in a different direction, which is the hard part. He does it like nothing. I had him at my last fundraiser at Tryon Estates, and boy, he stole the show. He's just an amazing little boy.
Yeah. Well, so you people like at Tryon Estates, you have these affairs that people just automatically have learned they want to raise money for you, and so you go any place that they ask you to come to. You take some of the animals with you and show them the results of your work. Is that kind of the idea? No.
I set up each year. I do a major fundraiser at Tryon Estates, and they help me out a lot.
It's a great place.
It is. They're wonderful people, and they really do a lot. And I'll bring an animal each year to show like what we've done, and we sell tickets, and I get people to donate gifts and whatnot, so I could auction them off and whatnot. That's a pretty good fundraiser, and I do very well, and it's a lot of fun. I tell everybody each year, if nothing else, the people that you meet, and it's just amazing, and everybody loves it. It's a wonderful thing. Then I have a smaller one, which I'll be doing sometime in October. I do a Bark in the Park. I just have people come. I have hot dogs, a couple of gifts and whatnot, and bring as many animals as I can see that that I don't see enough of, and I have so much fun with that too. But one of the other dogs, speaking of that, was Snowy, which is out of Bonnie Bray. They helped me a lot with and everything. And as a matter of fact, one of the workers there still owns Snowy. She was injured as a puppy.
That's a dog. Okay.
Yeah, she was a dog. She was injured as a puppy, and her front leg was all twisted and out of shape, and it was an amazing type of thing. And I went to my dear friends in upstate veterinary specialists. They are. I have to talk about my dear friend, Dr. Allen. He's the head of surgery there, and I can't tell you how much doubt.
Where is this?
This is in Greenville. It's upstate veterinary specialist, and I'm probably at least a dozen animals with bad situations he has pulled through and kept his fees as low as possible to help my kids, because he knows that they're not actually mine, and I still got to find them a home. So they've been.
Are your kids in your heart?
Oh, all of them, every single one of them. I laugh about it sometimes. I go in the vet and I meet new animals, and I think to myself, I never get tired of this, to be greeted by these guys. It's just an amazing thing. It's just amazing. I call it my emotional roller coaster. I don't win them all, but, it's the ups and downs. I seem to have it every day. That's why I have to keep the boss close to me, because, I might lose it one day. And I need the Lord as much as I can to get me through.
Anyway, we could talk about probably dozens and dozens and dozens of cases. You've been involved in this, so we can multiply 7 years by this, because you've been involved since you came here, apparently.
Yeah, that question you asked me makes me feel bad, because I'm probably, if someone hears this, there's probably dozens and dozens that say my dog was a lot more special or my cat was so much special. Why didn't he talk about that one? And I could understand exactly what they feel, because I know deep in my heart, there are many other cases that I could talk about that are special to me.
Have you always been this way with animals?
Yeah, I've had matter of fact, just yesterday we were at the Kiwanis Club, and they had the SAP people that helps the soldiers, and I wrote a nice check to those people, because I told them it's the two things that are very dear to me, is the wounded soldiers and animals. And I had said, there is one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I know why these animals do what they do. There's only one being on this earth that actually loves you more than they love themselves, and that's the dog.
Yeah. So you think dogs are much more reactive to humans than cats are?
Oh, absolutely. But that doesn't mean cats aren't just as loving.
No, because you cry over your lost cat just recently in your column. You made me cry when you told about it.
Yeah, it's just that cats are not as demonstrative as the dog is when it comes to showing their love.
We kind of train dogs, but cats train us.
Very, very good, very good. And they're smarter than dogs, too. I hate to say this to your dog owners, but the cats are.
We hope no dogs are listening.
No, they better not be.
We don't want to make enemies of our dog friends. But I have found, I've had with a daughter that has always been she should have been a vet too, because she's very, we've had everything from Goebbels to horses at our house. But I have found that cats really dominate you more than dogs do.
Yeah, they have a way to get under your skin. I used to laugh all the time, like if someone comes over to the house and they maybe don't like cats, the cats kind of pick up on that, and then they'll roll up against them and stuff. They're amazing animals. But
I know the two cats that we have, which are from the shelter here, brother and sister, and I think they must have had all kinds of different parents because they're so different. But there are people who come here that especially the male, and he goes and stays and will not come out at all while they're here. Mm-hmm. So is there something about a person that radiates a desire to be a friend with an animal? Or is there something that we don't understand that the cats feel that we don't?
Actually, dogs do that too. Not as much as cats, but a dog will do that too. And I've talked about this many, many times, especially if you rescue a dog or a cat. You don't know what's been in their mind beforehand, what happened to them. They don't come with fixed. I've had situations where darling people, good supporters of mine, have asked me they want a dog that does this, does that, has this, has that, and I'll tell them, go get a stuffed animal.
Or an automatic thing you turn on that has a little, these animals that talk and everything else.
Yeah, most of the times these animals they have some sort of issue, one form or another, and it's usually minor, but it sticks with them, and it can be I call it winning over their trust. And if you win over their trust, there is no doubt, you could ask anyone. An animal that gets rescued out of a shelter, they make the best pets, bar none. You can go get the any kind of breed you want. I don't care, and they're just the most wonderful, loving pets.
Yeah. A lot of people around here I noticed have pit bulls, and I've always heard it's sort of a stigma that attached to them because of the way some dogs are trained by people making money from, I hate to use the word dog fights, but pit bulls are not the vicious animals, are they, that are pictured to be?
It is one of my pet peeves about the bully dogs. I just get so annoyed. I've written I don't know how many articles about this. They used to be nanny dogs. They're just wonderful animals, the greatest, just the greatest family dogs there are. And I kid people all the time, and I'll tell them I can make a Pomeranian an attack dog. It's up to the person what you do with it. These dogs are just loving and whatever. But actually what they do is that they'll look at what the dog can do and assume that the dog will do that, when it's just the opposite. A little dog will bite you quicker than a big dog any day. And the big dog knows what it can do, and it kind of backs off, and they're loving. A little dog is afraid and frightened. Just try to go pick on...
Natural instinct.
Yeah, try to pick on a Chihuahua and watch what happens. I'm serious, and it's it just breaks my heart what these happen. And of course, we still have these idiot people that they inbreed them, they raise them, they sell them, and it's a bad situation, and they really have an undeserved
reputation.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You don't have the same feeling, and I don't mean this to put you in a bad light, but with this love of the animals, the cats and the dogs, and of course we don't go into all the other things. Cats and dogs is your specialty, but you don't have the same feeling about a horse you do about a dog and a cat.
Actually, I've owned horses, and I've had some. And you had told me that you had Arabians.
Yes.
I have a horse that's all over my house with pictures of it. Her name was Crystal Vision. She was a niece of Bosk, who was the top Polish Arabian horse. Very beautiful animal, and I used to trail ride all the time. And I've been asked about it before. And there's plenty of things for horses out here. And my intention is that it's if I spread myself out more, then I'll do less.
And I think I may be wrong, but you are very affectionate. Of course, you're Italian, so you would be affectionate, right? But you are an affectionate person. You like people, and you show your affection for people, which is nice. You're a warm person. With dogs and cats, you can cuddle, but you can't cuddle a horse.
Well, I think all animals are the same. Like, people will ask me, how do you get by? When I was at the Humane Society exclusively, I used to go into the cages with, terrible looking animals and things that they've been through, and I say, if you have a natural, really natural love for them, and no fear, they pick up on it in an instant. Of course, you can't be foolish and just run into it.
Yeah.
But I've had dogs that looked like they were ready to eat the world, and then within 10 minutes, I've had them thumping their tail and wanting attention
because they feel that love you have.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you want to know something? People are pretty similar. It's just like they say about I walk around and I meet strangers and I walk, good morning. Everybody gets a good morning, or a God bless you, or whatever. Everybody gets it.
Well, I walk down the street, and I'm not comparing myself to you with all this love you exude, because I'm kind of feisty sometimes. But I walk down the street and I'll see a person looking unhappy. Or even if they're not, when I meet a person head on the street, I speak to them, or I say hi, or good day, or we haven't had rain today, or something. And it's amazing if you get a little return smile. It's amazing. I do it selfishly. I feel better.
Absolutely, absolutely. But don't let that Italian fool you. There's another side to me. You don't want to see that side.
Now, I know the Italian side would come out real quick. No, you have, but there's nothing wrong with having that part of your character. I wish I could sometimes blow. Can you blow?
Oh yeah, I do it personally, but yes, I do blow off.
Of course, you don't take it all on your animals.
No, I don't. It's like, I believe that whatever you do, if your heart is in it and you do it with a passion, you'll succeed. And I have a passion for what I do, and I think that people pick up on it. They know what I feel. They see results from what I feel. That's why I could continually raise money, because they know what I do is straight from my heart, and my whole goal. I've said this to many, many people. When it comes to my kids, I have no shame.
Well, I think that kind of is a nice way to wind things down here. Anyway, I will mention once again, Lenny, that if people are wanting to help support you, I'm not here to campaign for money, but you do have a 501c3, and if anyone wants to contribute to the Lenny Fund, how would they do that?
Well, you could call the bulletin. I'm sure they'll give you my address, or you could leave it there. Most of the vets, many times I'll go into the vet's office and they'll have someone left this for me and left that for me. You could always get my address. I get plenty of stuff by mail. There's a few places that have jars with and they can do it that way. I'm always into a million different projects. If something's up, just come and pay attention to it. Like when I have my fundraisers, if you can get there, or send a surrogate and bring a checkbook.
And ready to fill it out.
Ready to fill it out.
We're going to have to call it a halt for now. We could just sit here and talk all day about your animals and the good that you're doing here, Uncle Lenny, because that's the only way I've come to know you as Uncle Lenny, because you are a warm personality and you're doing a lot of good. I have a feeling, I read it someplace where a day is not complete unless you do something for somebody else. And that doesn't have to be a big thing like you're doing. A smile, if you smile at someone and make them smile, because there's a lot of sourpusses in this world.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
But if you do one good thing a day, that your life's worthwhile. And I'm hoping by doing this Voices of the Foothills that you're listening to, I think maybe I can bring some of these stories to the people maybe who are outside the area that don't get the bulletin, but you can get it online. This goes around the world, the world's smallest daily newspaper, and that, I guess, has been verified pretty much.
I get letters, and I've had contributions from Florida, Georgia, Maine, Kansas. Quite a few people, relatives, have sent them my articles, and I'll get a contribution from out of state. And another thing I would love to close with this. Each morning, from what you said before, I say a prayer, and my prayer is very simple. May everything I do this day be pleasing to your eyes.
I think that's a perfect way to close. We're going to sit here probably and cry into our coffee mugs. Thank you so much, Uncle Lenny Rizzo. It's been a great pleasure, and we hope that we can have more interesting guests for you, like Uncle Lenny. And so stay tuned to the website here on the Tryon Daily Bulletin, and we'll be bringing more of these Voices of the Foothills to you. Thank you so much, and God bless.